name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here then welcome to my channel, and today's video is going to be my spoiler-free review for If You Still Recognize Me by Cynthia So. This is a book that I read for the Asian Readathon, which is taking place over the month of May, which I will have links down in the description so you can get more information on that. But this was my first finished read of the Readathon, and I have to say, we're off to a pretty good start. I will have the content warnings for this book linked down below in the description, and let's go ahead and start talking about why. If You Still Recognize Me follows our main character who is about to confess her feelings to her long-distance best friend who she met through a comic fandom. However, when her childhood friend comes back into her life after many years of no contact, our main character spends the summer both repairing old connections and also making new ones. Go ahead and start by talking about our main character Elsie. The story is very much focused in on her, but also what her friends and her family have going on as well, because she is a little bit of a meddler, but she means well. I really liked her. She's very into comics and fandom as a whole, and there were a lot of moments where I related to her both on an interest level and on an emotional one. And with her character, we got this exploration of loneliness, and although I expected like a little bit more of that, what we did get really resonated with me, which also just made every happy moment, every single connection that our main character made just hit that much harder than it was already going to for me, and I really love those moments of just happiness for our main character. She also has a lot of sweet friendships and also an eventual very sweet romantic relationship as well. And as for her family relationships, there are sweet relationships between her and her family members as well, but this one is also more complex. There is more tension here, and you do see Elsie explore this and try to solve what's going on because there have been secrets that have been kept from her. Elsie is also bisexual, and then this is also where the family stuff does come into play again. And content warnings for homophobia here for sure, but you also do get to see a lot of really celebratory moments for our main character and her friends. There are some really adorable coming out scenes, for example, that I really loved. And there were also a handful of queer characters, queer platonic friendships, and queer romantic relationships, all of which were so lovely. This book also does dive into self-expression, especially when it comes to clothing, and you see Elsie really unpacking her childhood and connecting it to where she is now and where she wants to go with her self-expression, but also just in general. And on that note, this story does have a lot of coming-of-age themes, all of which I really enjoyed. But this story also does have some mystery elements to it, which I was not expecting from this going into it. But I do think that I enjoyed it because it gave our characters like adventures to go on, and it intrigued me and it kept me reading. And even though I did feel like the love letter storyline specifically was a little bit too fictional at times, it was still like YA tropey in a way that I really enjoyed. And it was also just nice to see Elsie finally get the answers that she had been searching for throughout this book and also before this book. And that especially goes for her family, but also her childhood best friend. As for the romance, I thought they were adorable. I was rooting for them, but I do kind of feel like I lost our love interest in here. Like, she is a very solid and very steady presence for our main character, which I loved. But I also do feel like I wanted to see her a little bit more, both for her own character and also for the getting together portion of their relationship. And I do like what we got when it comes to the getting together portion, but I also do wish that the feelings realization specifically was structured and paced differently. I think I just wanted to ship them more than I ended up shipping them, but they do have a good amount of sweet moments in here and also really important and emotional conversations. This book also focuses a lot on repairing old connections, which I thought was really interesting, and I do like how this book explored that. And there's also a lot of unpacking of trauma, whether it's from ex-romantic partners to family to friendships, etc. And speaking of shipping, this book also does have a huge focus on comics, fanfiction, and just fandom as a whole, which I really loved, and honestly, I think I always will. And I love the relationship that Elsie has with her long-distance best friend and how it was created due to fandom. And it was just really amazing and again relatable to see them get so excited about their favorite comic and the characters. And the story also does address the problematic biases that a lot of fandoms unfortunately do cultivate as well. Overall, this was a book that I read pretty quickly and in very large amounts when I did read it, which I'm still in a little bit of a reading slump at the time of filming this, so I really appreciated that. And I also feel like it's just one of those books where you can really feel the love and the heart that the author put into it, which will always be really lovely, and this book is no exception to that. There were some times where I felt like the pacing was a little bit off, and there were a couple of things that I wanted to see more of, but I'm also just mostly content about where everything left off here, and I thought it was a really good and solid read all the way through. through. So I am going to be giving If You Still Recognize Me by Cynthia So 4.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, so that is all that I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and answer the question that'll be around here if you want to do that, and hopefully I will see you here next time. Bye!